Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news show.
There are issues post-hotfix on-screen rotation. Inputs are still inconsistent and responses poor. We're looking to how players 2 years on are still talking about this type of experience. Kabam are looking into the Legends Run issue content nerf situation and much more. Hello everybody, it's the 23rd of January, it's your Monday MCN and I hope you've had a lovely weekend. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe with post notifications on all before we get into the show today. Got to open up some red pockets a bit later on and see if there's any kind of Lunar New Year luck come my way. God, what was that? Yes, those are words on a Monday. I should get a coffee in a minute, I think. First of all, let's talk about the rotation issue. Now, this is a small bug. We've got a veritable smorgasbord of things to cover, but this one is particularly weird and out there. Since the hotfix, which, the hotfix was out last week, there's been this kind of weird rotation bug, which you can see on screen right now, where the device seems to be like, whoa, wait, ho, what? It's kind of like goes like that, like it goes part half cut kind of rotation, but it's always on the landscape. So as you're seeing it on the landscape, it doesn't want to go, not saying it doesn't go portrait, but when it rotates around, it kind of highlights one specific section. Whereas before, with certain devices, it will just do like a full rotation to where it's at a landscape. This is, if you see on screen, that's a better way of kind of describing it. Very early on, and few people are experiencing this, iPhone XR seems to be the device that seems to be affected by this. It could be a case that this will be mentioned by Kabam, but as this is something that's happened in the last kind of 24 to 48 hours, and has come close to even not over the weekend, it's probably something that, you might have to live with for a little while until the new update, because I don't see this being, I don't know if everybody finds this dramatically unpleasing, but still, it's a bug if you've noticed it in the recent day or two. In any case, we're going to bring us back to Marvel Contest of Champions related stuff, and in particular, the Legends Run. So, as a lot of people know, the Legends Run, which is a monthly thing, if I believe rightly, is just doing, I don't know if it's Heroic and Master really fast nowadays, or it's masked and uncollected really fast. It's one of the two. Like, you have to kind of like blast through content on an event monthly basis in order to get yourself the Legends badge. I did it years ago. I think I did it back in like 2017. We get like the Legends title, this kind of Legends badge, just like there right on your profile picture, which you can see on screen right now. But it does cause an issue because this month we had a nerf to the content. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was a nerf to the content. A lot of people kind of like were talking about this because, it's just a case of, well, it's unfair because if you are doing it week 1 and you're like, okay, well, I've blasted through this week 1, it's taken me, say, 3 hours or whatever, some here. I went for it as well with a time of 3 hours and 43 minutes. That's a huge time investment. Really hope there's some clarity on this. There is an answer which, you can see on screen. We're going to read off in a second. But yeah, if you're not familiar with the Legends Run, you have to do content really fast. You've got a time that you'd have to kind of do, and it would be a lesser time if the content was easier. Now, it could say that if 5RA did the content like today or yesterday or like last week within the, because you've got to do it within the first 2 weeks of the content going live. If you were to do it, and that 3 hours 43, which say was like a lot of people did, if someone was able to do it based on the nerfed content at least 20 minutes earlier, but it would have been at the same if it was done at a week before, a week prior, then it'd be like, damn, like that person got 20 minutes like easier content than 5RA did. I think I've explained it in the best way possible. It's basically saying that content is easy to do now, so therefore people will be able to do it quicker, which means that the Legends Run is kind of like it would have been able to be done a lot easier, and therefore it could push out 5RA from being able to do to get into the final 100. But there's good news, okay? This was something that we were waiting for an answer for, and Kabam have gifted it with saying that, hey, the team is taking the change into account and will be having extra legend slots for those who ran this before the change. We're still working out the exact number, but we'll let everyone know once we have everything locked in. Now, that's good, but we don't know how many. because before it could be like 100, it's like, well, now it's going to be 125. But 125 could still be a problem, because it's like here, like Lime could be like, well, I did it for time of 4 hours and 26 minutes. I'm hoping to make the cut even if I'm at the very end. So yeah, it's like you do not know what's going to happen with this one. It's good news, but at the same time, don't hold your breath, because it could go a little bit scuffy. And now let's move on and talk about inputs in Marvel Contest of Champions. Now, we do get from time to time very angry commenters. I think we had to deal with something on Friday because someone was being rude to myself about not talking about something like this. We're talking about it. I don't want to make every video just like talking about inputs. Oh, the game, is unresponsive and stuff, because it's just not what I want to move on to. Other content. Yes, there's going to be input problems, and I'm like, even if you come to like the streams, there's times when I'm going like, great, dropped inputs. But it's not something fundamentally I want to make all about the channel. It's just complaining about this stuff. There's stuff to move on and kind of like talk about. But I do agree, the state of inputs is still pretty bad in game. When Dr. Zola at the start of the month put this, simply things like dropped inputs, parry timings, lag, frame rate, stuttering, all seems to shift into high gear after a new update. Why is this? Is it coding? Is it the servers? Is it the same underlying game issues exacerbated by more people playing? Now, Kabam's response to this is that it's they say like it's very weird to me because this is no reason that a new build would come with input issues that go away over time, unless there is something that addresses them directly. That is, release controls are not server related but are client based and shouldn't just appear and go away, nor would they be more prevalent in one game mode and another. The biggest problem with Marvel Contest Champions is and all this, there's several things. So first of all, that Kabam rely on a machine, the Sir Tapsalot machine, as a machine that kind of like dots onto a device screen to kind of show response, and that I just don't think it's like you're judging a machine. A machine is you're judging a machine on human like touch, which I just don't think is correct. That's not really. I'm sure Kabam will get no, it's perfectly logical. No, I just don't feel that's the thing. It should be a case of like you should have. I'd say you should have testers around the world with different devices that kind of give a different kind of like feel towards this. And that's probably like a better way of using it. But Kabam will go, oh, it's client-based. Client-based. Okay, fine. It's client-based. But because you talk about and bring into that particular stage the idea of client-based, you then have to look at the situation of the AI. Because a lot of the times what you're doing is you're being responsive, reactive to how the AI comes towards you. And the biggest thing that we've got is AI profiles. Now, AI profiles differ from different pieces of content you're in. Whether or not you're in Arena, whether or not you're in the kind of EOP, whether or not you're in anywhere in the game, the AI profile is going to be different. That means that the defender can either be slower or faster. And I'm sure that Kabam will kind of say like, well, not necessarily. Well, it is. And if the AI is moving faster, then that's going to change your reaction, a human reaction to things like that. And that's just the thing, that's just the problem, isn't it? If you've got AI profiles that are different in different content, then you as a player are going to be reacting very differently. Either you're going to have to go quicker, like quickly tap, or it's a case you have time to go tap. It's either tap or it's tap. And that is going to be the issue right there. So Kabam, you could look at this and go like, well, did Kabam like fall on their own sword here? Because yes, it is client-based. Yes, it's client-based. We've got nothing to do with it. But AI profiles do play a big factor into if they're going quite fast towards you or going slower towards you, or there's, for whatever reason they react differently. They will go out of the block very quickly to hit you, or they'll be throwing stuff in a way that you're like, you just throw a random heavy attack, then your reaction and you will kind of like, you'll change that perception. But it doesn't take away from the fact of this, what this thread was saying is that it could be a case that the input on the screen, based on maybe device or maybe other things, is just not there. And it's just not responsive. And for me, it's weird. Like some days I'll have really decent inputs. Then the next day it'll be like I couldn't finish my 5-hit combo because it didn't let the last input go in, and that's a problem because a lot of time in this content, when you're doing very sensitive content, and say sensitive content based on the fact of like one mistake equals death, it's like you've got to get that last input in, because that chain could be that last input chaining into a special attack. So it makes you a very cagey player within Marvel Contest of Champions. But as I said, I think this is something that still needs to regularly looked into. People have different experiences. Like one person, like I think I had a conversation with one person, and they said, "Oh, I've had no input problems." And then the next day, or the next kind of cycle of something like AQAW was like, "Oh, now I've got bad inputs." It's like, well, like there's something up there when it comes to the consistency of it. And again, it could go back to what I was saying, that this could be because of the AI profile pace, which then causes the issue of, right, so if the enemy AI, the defender, is moving faster, or it's throwing in a very different manner, or it's throwing, random heavy attacks, or it's kind of like behaving differently, then the kind of reaction to that is different. And I said I don't know if that's the case, but it's definitely worth kind of like, I think, Kabam looking into these particular situations, or at least taking them a bit more seriously, to have a regular team devoted to this. But we just don't know the kind of like the breadth and spread of Kabam staff. If staff were removed from the company a while ago, what kind of model and what kind of addressing are we doing with this one? Kabam have got a AAA game that's coming out at some point, so are we realigning people to a different kind of focus and delivery? But what are your thoughts on this particular situation of dropped input issues and consistency around them? Put it in the comment section down below. And now we finish up the show talking about the arena results for Absorbing Man and Valkyrie. Okay, looks like there's been a bit of a decline in the extent of grind that players are doing. Now, I don't know if that means that like Valkyrie wasn't of interest to certain players, because that champion went a lot lower than expected. This is the first kind of it's the first kind of new champion as well in Absorbing Man. That kind of went similar to how it should be, like how it was last year with 250 million. But anyway, results wise, Absorbing Man 256.5 million, position 39, and then we've got right at the very end 49.3 mil, got position 427. So that kind of gives you an idea there. So that kind of puts you in line with that kind of 50 mil. It could be something like 48 mil as the final results. Valkyrie 59 mil, got position 48, position 97, 24 mil. And it's surprising, massively surprising, but it's crazy times in the world of MCOC. 12 mil, got the 5 stars, the 382 position. I even could have got a lot lower. So I don't know where people are with their interest of what they're kind of grinding out, but yeah, some weird stuff's happening in arena, and I don't know if this means that we'll start seeing lower scores in the future. We'll have to really see. We'll keep monitoring. We'll see what Baron Zemo does. But yeah, predictions wise, I'm going with 250 mil for the 6-star version of Absorbing Man, 50 mil for the 5-star version, 40 mil for the 6-star version. Could downgrade that to 30 mil, but again, it's kind of like a risk, because people might see this and go, oh, less grind. And in the 5-star version, 13 mil. Could even go a lot lower than that, to be honest. But there's my predictions for round 2 of that particular arena. And also, just before we end, massive thank you to those that support the channel as a YouTube member and as a Patreon. You're on screen right now. Thank you so much. Also, those that support on twitch.tv/RichTheMan Live. If you've got an Amazon Prime account, give a free Twitch sub. You can do. Support the channel and all those things when I live stream MCOC or different games and all that stuff. Make sure to check out some other content located on screen right now, and there may be another video, maybe some red pockets opening as the next video today, but we'll see. Cheers everybody, have a great day, bye bye.